All right, guys, we're back, and the game is ready to begin. Zeal, KiToO going down here in this last round of 4 match, and the winner here is going to move on to the finals. Game number 1 is going to start on Iron Fortress LE. It is another best of 5, and it is 2 teammates going at it. Who's going to reign supreme? Well, we'll find out here. Do have the pink Protoss player on the upper left-hand side of this map. First 4-player map of the day, by the way. And, yeah, for Brawl Esports, it is Zeal. Against him, we do have the Blue Zerg player, teammate, rival. Gets a nice little GGGL from his opponent. So maybe this will start off a little cordially then. It is the Blue Zerg KiToO. Now I asked KiToO before this game. I said, "Are you going to BM him in these matches?" He said, "Well, maybe if I'm up 2-0, but I got to take this seriously because Protoss good raise." So that's fair enough, because you know what? As fun as it is to BM sometimes and whatnot, gotta remember there's money on the line. This isn't just some custom game or ladder game. Even this is for some good money here. We're talking about $50 at this particular point in time, from 75 to 125. So you don't want to throw that away by getting carried away with the talking, right? So we're going to see KiToO go ahead with the 15 hatchery here. So this is Iron Fortress, nice big map. And if there was a map that you'd want to take expansion first on, well, it'd be this one. I mean, why would you... unless you wanted to cheese or something. But even then, like, you got to scout your opponent first, right? So, yeah, safe play. Makes a lot of sense. On the other hand, for Zeal, we're going to see him go with a gateway opener. Very likely a gateway expand as well. And there is, yes, the pull to follow the 15 hatch from KiToO. So, yeah, I mean, you got to send the overlords around here and there, see where your opponent is by process of elimination. Of course, if you're Protoss, though, you don't have that option. You kind of have to do things the old-fashioned way, or just not do them at all, because Zeal does have yet to do any scouting of his own. Building a forward pylon here looks like as his second, and I would assume that at some point he's going to try to work on a natural, but for now he's going to move into that cybernetics core first. He's starting to bank up some minerals here. We'll see if he uses them on a Nexus. Sending out a probe right now. I guess this is going to be his attempt to scout. So KiToO still has yet to find his opponent. Both players are in crossed positions, so oftentimes Zerg actually has to try a little harder because he has to eliminate 2 places before he goes and takes a look at that cross position base. And Zeal now chronoing out that mothership core. So, you know, while these 2 guys are just getting their openers running and whatnot, who has the upper hand here? As far as who's favored, that's a tough question. I wish, you know, there's not a huge amount of information on both these players as far as, you know, how well they do typically in tournaments. We, of course, do know Zeal is a challenger Protoss this season on NA. KiToO, he's kind of had more activity on the ladder as opposed to these kinds of things, whether it is tournaments or even participating in WCS. I don't know if he did that for EU. I don't believe so. But he, like I said, he is a top 50 GM on EU, and then that carries some weight in and of itself because EU is, you know, pretty tough server to play on. So again, this is a fact-finding mission for us, seeing this game between 2 decent players, and we'll see who's the more solid of them in this PvT matchup. A little bit of harassment from KiToO, sending out those 2 slow lings. But that's just to do more scouting than anything. Not quite Bly, I guess you could say, when it comes to the craziness with the lings and managing to get them into their opponent's bases and just, oh my gosh, just driving Protoss players nuts, having to micro their workers around and whatnot. Instead, we're going to see the Protoss player here get units into the base of his opponent. 3 queens immediately targeting down that mothership core, but the Zealots have arrived now, and we are going to see KiToO with 3 spines on the way, by the way. Actually 2. One's a Roach Warren. Just 4 Zealots. Not going to do too much here against KiToO, but he does have Lings, does have a spine ready to go after these Zealots, and Zeal's going to have to back off for now, as he's continuing to warp in some more. And we just need to take a look here really quickly too at Zeal's units, buildings. It's just 4 gates. It's just a 4 gateway pressure. He's not gonna go too crazy with this. What came so early, by the way. If it was like a 5 gate or even a 7 gate, we wouldn't see it materialize until now. But Zeal's already gotten a couple warp ins, but I don't see him be able to do too much more here. I mean, KiToO is on top of it, 2 spines, even has Roach out at this point. So I don't imagine him having too many more issues with this harassment from Zeal. And of course, that comes a lot from him scouting that wall earlier, seeing there were 2 gateways down there. I mean, if Protoss was going to go like just one small harassment by way of Oracle or something and then take a 3rd, then you wouldn't see 2 gateways as soon down there. So KiToO, nice and prepared at home, is going to do a little macroing now, I would think. No 3rd base from him, by the way. He's going to have Roach speed finishing soon, starting +1 attack. Focusing down this proxy pylon, and I think he's going to make a move here. He did have to delay a few things to get such a great defense going for him in defending that 4 gate on 2 base. So that's why KiToO now is pushing across the map. Going to take his 3rd at this time. And he's not going to fully commit to this. He's not having reinforcements continuously stream over here. He's continuing to add drones. So it's not like he cut drones to just make a bunch of roaches here. Although he's adding on a few roaches at a time, though. And he's still waiting in the center. Actually, he chooses to back off. Nick those Lings scouting that natural wall, seeing all this, all this gateway unit stuff. We got some sentries, we got some Zealots. Not really going to quite be able to break into that. So KiToO chooses to indeed back off. But he's still adding on roaches, though. He still has not... Now he's adding on roaches, actually. Not adding as many drones. So maybe he is going to start just pulling all his efforts into making army units. We'll see. And he's got Hydras going for him. So Hydralisk then finished up researching Groove Spines. +1 almost finishing up. Maybe he's going to wait to make a +1 timing here. That does certainly seem like a pretty reasonable possibility as Zeal pushes out to clear the 3rd base. He's got some Immortals with him. So we're looking at an Immortal Sentry composition right now. Zeal staying on 2 bases. It's 10:30 right now. Ooh, Changeling from KiToO sneaks its way in here. Taken out by a cannon, but not before seeing a robotics facility. And the Forge, suspiciously... not suspiciously, because there's no Twilight Council, but not researching anything. No +2 happening right now. So KiToO is has to be expecting now an all-in from Zeal. I mean, no additional upgrades happening, no 3rd being taken. This is Zeal trying to make his big move here. And KiToO, with pretty good creep spread, is able to push out that proxy pawn on the very edge here as Zeal's going to try to make his way in. So that's kind of a positive thing for KiToO, in the sense that he is not going to face too many quick reinforcements from the Protoss. That's what's important about creep spread, by the way. It limits the areas in which Protoss can build those proxy pylons. But there is a Warp Prism, though, so let's see how the micro goes for both players. Force fields right now zoning out those Roaches and Hydras. KiToO bringing some units from behind. So he's been preparing for a possible sandwich here, expending a lot of these force fields here from Zeal, and it looks like there's a lot more blue here than pink. I think it's safe to say that. And KiToO just closing in. GG. And we're seeing the Zerg up 1-0 now. So I'd say that was pretty methodical play from KiToO, right? He saw that 4 gate, or not necessarily knowing it was 4, but that there was going to be some kind of gateway pressure. And then he, stays on 2 base, gets all the defenses he needs, and not announce more. I think that's key. Because if you overcommit to defending, then you have to push, right? Because you've actually done a lot of damage to yourself as far as economy and tech. But if you get just the right amount of stuff to defend and not announce more, and then you can just make that transition, that's perfect for you. Because, you know, if you're KiToO and you see what he did, he just pushed to counter, said,